And here we are with another episode of the Bro Science podcast.
Welcome. Today we don't have Santi with us. We have
Wow.
the special one. Why are you special, Santi?
Because I fell asleep, man, and
Okay.
I'm coming from the other side. I'm I'm here as an entity, as an ethereal and omnipresent entity, ready to tackle any subject you might think of.
Okay, I have something for you. I'll introduce it. So last Thursday, I was walking in La Latina. Do you remember La Latina, where we went like
See,
bar hopping?
Yep.
Uh, I, I
See.
was
but
walking there
also,
because an ex roommate of mine, it's leaving Madrid, and I was going to like do a farewell, have some farewell drinks. But I didn't know that as I was walking there, I started seeing like all this music and all these carnival things, and apparently it was the parties local to that neighborhood. So when I arrived where they were waiting for me, they were already drinking and they were dancing, and there was like some DJs and stuff. I thought we were going out for like just a couple drinks, but that wasn't the case. I wasn't drinking because I'm training for the ultra marathon, and I've been not drinking for a bit of time. But when I arrived, there was Javier. That's the one who's leaving, and there was Esteban. And Esteban says, "Do you see those girls?" And they were like some like just beautiful blonde girls, like as beautiful as and they were talking to like a short guy, and he says to me, "Do you see the short guy? He's a friend of ours." And he's like super outgoing. He talks to everyone, and he's now flirting with those girls. Um, so the short guy comes back. He's called Juan. And as soon as he comes back, Esteban says, "Hey, take Martin to those girls because he wants to talk to them." And I didn't say anything, but I said, "No, no, I don't want to talk to them. I really thought they were just way too pretty for me, and I didn't want to go talk to them. I mean, I did want to, but I just felt they were
Yeah.
out of my league. So I said, no, 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 I don't want to. I don't want to. But good for me, the Juan was like super pushy, and he started pushing me to go, go, go. What do you do? What do you not want to go, etc., etc. So after a while, he was pushing me. We ended up going and talking to these two Argentinian girls who were just super pretty. Um, to my surprise, as soon as we started talking, it got like super a good vibe, and we started like flirting, and we started dancing and talking, and before I noticed, we were like dancing and talking like head to head. You know, when you're like flirting with a girl and you get super close. We talked a lot, and she started telling me that I didn't sound as a Chilean, that I had lost my accent, that I was using too many Spanish words and stuff like that. But yeah, we just talked. We just talked for a while, super close, and when I finally decided to like go for it and try to make out with her, I was about to go for it, and her friend asked her to go to the bathroom. So they go to the bathroom, and I didn't see the girls anymore. Uh,
Mm.
I didn't see them. But it was okay because when I arrived, I was feeling super shy. I didn't want to flirt with any girls. I was like not feeling it. I was like, I just wanted to talk with Javier that was leaving, and that was it. But after that, I felt so close to girls that I didn't think I could ever reach. That it left me like uh, ecstatic and want to talk to everyone. And after that, I just was super outgoing, talking to a lot of girls,
Mm.
and the rest is history. Okay, that was the story. But now the topic is about the accent thing. Do you feel it's a good thing or a bad thing to keep your accent?
That's the crazy, like the story for the accent, bro. This guy's been reading that storybook way too much, man. Way too much.
You must. Oh yeah, you put out like every single possible steak. There couldn't have
Every
been better
steak.
steaks.
I was sweating. I was,
Me
I was
too.
bloody thinking about work. I was,
Me
me
too.
and Javier, we've been mates for years. But yeah, my accent changed. So I was
So
like,
yeah,
"Fuck."
the
What
story
the
was
fuck?
just for me to practice telling stories. But I do want to talk about the accent because I think something we talked a little bit with Santi. I
Still
think we talked
hilarious, man.
about how when you keep using your local slangs with people that don't know it, they start asking you and you have like something to talk about. But on the other hand, myself, I tend to like blend more with the accent I'm speaking to, and I tend to neutralize my accent and not use many slangs.
Yeah.
What are your viewpoints in that?
Um, from memory, shut up, Santi, man. From memory, there's like you can actually really. It depends on the person. They usually go either two ways. One is they blend in. So I blend in as well. Definitely, like I love taking on every trait I can. Whereas some people like they become more different. They actually take their own accent even heavier. And I think the reason for both is the way that you connect with people. So some people connect over their differences, where some people connect over their similarities more so. So I think it comes down to the need of
Wow.
feeling loved, valued, and accepted. So yeah, yeah,
Wow. I've never
Santi
noticed
man.
So
someone connecting on their difference. I believe I actually believe it's so different to what I think. Wow, I've never thought about this. How do I connect with people? And I know that I myself
Mm,
avoid using Chilean
yeah,
slang,
that's good
for
actually.
example.
Mm.
So does that does that say something about me that I try to connect with people from my similarities? How does it work when trying to connect with people from your differences? I've never even thought of that, and I also couldn't think of anyone that makes their accent even stronger. I've never seen that before.
Now I know people. I literally know people who like they'll go into a different. So like especially with Aussies. So like you'll go overseas, and they'll start speaking more like this, like real Aussie, and I'm like, what? Like you don't even sound like that, bro. Like now all of a sudden, like you're about to whip out a knife and be like Crocodile Dundee. Like chill out, buddy. But like like they're trying to. It's like they're trying to like be more Aussie, so people are like, oh, you're Australian. Oh, you're different. You're unique. You're valuable. Right? It's that kind of thing that's subtly going on in everyone's minds.
we lost
Did Santi just leave? Nah, the special one. He's gone. Not so
so
special anymore.
and I have a friend that whenever she talks in English, she says her Spanish name like just as you would pronounce it in Spanish, and that those are sounds that you wouldn't make in English. So, for
Yeah.
example, when I present myself to someone else, um, I would present it. Santi,
Yeah, actually, how do you say your name to someone new? That is interesting to me. Because I know your name in my head is in Spanish edition.
Santi,
Echale.
can you hear?
Me
Echale.
myself,
Okay, so
Guanchale.
Especial.
when I go to someone that speaks English, I say hello.
Yeah.
My name is Martin. I don't say Martin.
What? I've never heard that in my life. Martin. What?
Santiago.
Yeah, and
No,
even
that's
when I
fucked.
went to French classes, I said, uh, "Je m'appelle Martin." I didn't say
Martin.
Martin,
That's awesome, bro.
and people laughed. Some people laughed, and I understand it.
What?
But you were saying that some Aussies make their accent stronger, and I think this
Yeah,
girl
you're
was from
right.
Argentina,
Yeah.
and I have also another friend from Argentina. Santi knows him, and he also, when he would come to Spain or talk to someone else, he would make his accent stronger. Even in
Yeah.
English, he would have like a super strong Argentinian accent. Um, and I feel for Argentinians in general, they're so proud on their country, on their accent, on everything, on their football. They're she was telling to me like, you should be proud of your accent. You shouldn't change it one bit. Why would you use Spanish words when you come from Chile? It sounds stupid, she said. And it made me wonder like, is she right? Should I just keep my straight Chilean accent and use my slangs, my words, or should I? Or is it okay for someone that lives in another country to blend in with their culture? I think those are
Mm.
two opposite views.
Do you do you
I'm not
know
sure
why?
which one.
Because you were so invested in this conversation, you were thinking, "I'm gonna bring this to the." How invested you were in the conversation, and that's what makes you a beautiful human, and why she wanted to lick your lips. You know?
But she didn't. But anyway, what do you think, Santi? Because I remember we had this discussion
Yeah,
when
I
we,
know.
for
I know we
example, when
had
we
this
met.
conversation.
I think it was when we met some Spanish girls here. I don't remember where we knew them from. Do you remember? We went to like a bar with
Yeah,
three
she was
girls.
a
One of
friend of
them
mine
went to
from
like
Denmark.
Chile, and I think
Yeah, she was a.
we had that discussion. And you said you liked using Chilean words even if they don't understand it, because afterwards they can ask you what's about, and that, for example, gives you something to learn or to talk about it.
If I'm using Chilean words, I know that I'm saying them to cause an impression, and if I'm avoiding using Chilean words, I know that I'm trying to for them to understand me. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm always on the ball of what I'm saying. So that's that when you're on the ball of what you're saying, it feels awkward to start saying Chilean words just for the heck of it, just to start a conversation, because that's what I'm doing. Because I know what I'm saying. I could easily be avoiding them, you know. So that's one thing. And if I'm already trying to connect by like reaching common ground and like trying to have similarities, I'm intentionally not saying Chilean words, despite of what I said that day. Like I agree that saying the your country slang is fun and it brings up different conversation topics, but I naturally avoid it, just as you.
Nice, interesting. And when you present yourself to someone that speaks in English to like an American, how do you call yourself? Yeah, you pronounce it like in
Yeah,
Spanish,
I could. Yeah, Santi.
Santiago.
Yeah, you say Santiago. Santiago.
No, I say
And Martin, I've only ever known you as Martin. Like
yeah,
you're not
because you knew
Martin's
me
not
through
even the same
Santi.
word. It's Martin.
You knew me through Santi, but
Yeah,
work
true.
people
Correct.
knows me as Martin.
What? They don't know you. They actually don't know you.
They know Martin. They don't know Martin.
Who the
They
fuck
know.
is Martin, bro? I don't know that
Yeah.
guy.
Martin.
No, but I do the same thing, man. I do the same thing. When I go to France, I'm
And
Xavier.
soon Martin will be born.
Oh, that's gonna be a great bro. Let's go back to this women's story. I'm so intrigued. I'm so
Wait.
intrigued.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
But
let's go to
yeah,
the story.
So
I just wanna
you're
one last thing. One last thing
telling
on the topic. I I also think Martin has. I know that he has. I know your accent. Even this is another interesting point. I believe your accent, even talking with me, has gotten more Spanish. Not only with like strangers. Like
My mom
I,
says the same.
yeah,
My mom
I
my
noticed.
mom says I have like a different tone of voice that sounds more
Yeah,
Spanish.
yeah, and it's not
But it
only
makes
that.
sense. Like I've been here more than 2 years, and I'm surrounded by Spanish people every day, all day. So it's like you just start sticking to it. Like it's you don't even think about it.
In like
Yeah,
a
like
sequence.
like a tone,
Yeah, like a tone, like
like a
a
melody,
singing
kind of.
sequence. Do that. Like it's a very specific pause at a
And it's
very
like
specific point.
very
It's like
subtle.
it's like talking slowly, and then very quick, man. And you do that every time. It's so funny.
Yeah, I don't
So
know, man. I
Spanish.
think, and I don't, I didn't ever see it as a bad thing. I only saw it as, okay, I'm living here, I'm blending in, I'm absorbing the people that I share time with. It's I think it makes sense, but when I talked to her, she sounded so like impressed that I was able to lose so much of my accent, and she was like
Wow.
so like you shouldn't do that. That it made me wonder, is she right?
Wow.
Chileans what?
Neutral.
In what regard?
A thought that popped in. Like Argentinians, as you said, have such a strong personality, and Chileans are very
Yeah,
like,
we just like I think we just like to make fun of everything. We don't really care much about things. We're like meh.
yeah, we're
So we're not
chill. And
indifferent, but we don't really take things so personal or so. We don't really give much importance to unimportant things. I think. I don't know. I have a friend from Chile that's living in Barcelona. We went to the Pyrenees last weekend, and she sounded just as Spanish as me, and she's been here for only I think 6 months. So I do think I do see a pattern in which Chileans tend to be more flexible and adapt quicker than Argentinians, for example. Okay, Tavio, what do you have?
What do you mean?
You said you wanted to say something about the story.
Man, this story doesn't add up for me.
Why does it not add
'Cause
up?
I was listening to your story, like you're like, oh, they're like you kept saying they're beautiful, right? So like clearly it was wrong, and like you just let it go like it was nothing. That you never saw this girl again.
I
Is that
never.
how you actually felt?
Is that what?
Is that how you actually felt? Like you did not care?
No, it's not that I didn't care. I was like, okay. So first, they went to the bathroom. I don't know if they ever had the intention of coming back or not, but I was like, okay, I'll wait for them. And then they never came back. But I was already so like I was already feeling like so good because I really didn't. I was really afraid of talking to these girls because they were so pretty. And I, as soon as I started talking to them and I overcame this fear, they were so reciprocating. Anyway,
Yeah.
they reciprocated so well that it made me realize like, oh, it was all in my head. I'm so stupid. And I was feeling like so good. And I was like, okay, I'll just talk to more people now. And they
Mm.
didn't come back for a while. Then we left the place. Maybe they did come back and we just left before they came back. I have no idea. But the night kept going on, and I talked to other girls, and I got some numbers, and it went really well the night after that point. It was all about overcoming that first girl that was the prettiest girl of the night, to be honest. But it was overcoming that fear.
Okay. You know what's interesting? Like, and this is something like why we actually afraid? Like of what?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've
We
thought this
don't.
about my because I've the same nerves, and I know tons of guys that do. And the question is like, what are we actually afraid of? Like what?
So I'm just starting to read the second David Goggins book, and he tells about why so much people fail on some things, and he tells this story of a person that throws himself with a parachute, and as soon as he opens the parachute, it's tangled, and they spend so much time trying to untangle the parachute that as soon as they when they want to pull out the second parachute, the how do you call it, the reserve one, it's too
Yeah,
late, and they fall into the ground and they die anyway. So and he argues that most people are so afraid that if they open the second parachute might be tangled as well, and then they will for sure be fucked, that they rather not know whether the second parachute it's okay or not, and then just try to untangle the first parachute. Does it make sense?
kind of. So what fear do you think
Mm.
that's
So I think, like really putting it on context, I think I would feel, I think I wrongly think and I assume I would feel better not getting to know whether the girl would reciprocate me or not than to find out. So I rather not open the second parachute and not know whether it's untangled or not, and just stay with my tangled parachute, because that's a certainty. It's a certainty that that I may have something else going on. Does that make sense?
Do you
So
think?
if I don't open the parachute, then I'm sure there are options. But if I open the second parachute, then I'm sure that I'll either be fucked or no. And I think most people are afraid of being sure that they're fucked, and they
Yeah.
rather just keep their options open.
See, okay,
Wow.
framing the fear in terms of unknown, right? So I would counter that. I knowing you and knowing who you are, I'm not necessarily certain that the unknown scares you that much. So I want to come back to again. Why women? Why is it the girl that scares you that much?
Because it has been like that since the beginning of human
But
history.
why? I'm saying because I same thing, dude. I'm not scared of the unknown. I'll do wild shit that I don't know. Like I
But
don't care. But when
that's what I'm saying. That's what
the
I'm
girl,
saying. That not talking to the girl keeps the unknown open, but talking to the girl settles the unknown to be known. And we're so afraid, or I'm so afraid of settling that that girl won't talk to me or won't reciprocate or whatever, that I rather keep it as an unknown and live in the fantasy of maybe if I talk to her, she would talk to me, but I'll never confirm it because I don't want to open the door.
see, I don't know if I agree with you. I think we're not. I think, and this is why I'm going through this because I've never actually gone through this as a thought experiment, right? But if we apply that to something else, I don't think that works for you. I'm not sure you're scared of the unknowns that much. So I think there's a different way this fear has evolved in your mind or my mind or
But
our minds, right?
I
Because I could justify this fear in a completely different way other than the unknown. It would make logical sense. But is that what's actually happening on a level?
also you also unconsciously also think about the consequences, and when you open, when like if you're talking about like um tackling the unknown in an adventurous sense, okay, that's one thing. And we all know Martin, possible case, like I don't know, he trips over, hits his I don't know, his head on a rock, I don't know, and he survived, I don't know. But I don't know, I think he's okay with those consequences. But I think the consequences play a huge role. So like, if the consequences opening up to a girl and being vulnerable, and not necessarily vulnerable, but also having your ego like destroyed maybe, or like thinking less of yourself because she
Yeah.
wouldn't want to talk to you, is also like scary as fuck. And
Yeah, I'm really trying to think about this. I don't know why I'm actually scared in that scenario. Like, let's say there's a bloody gorgeous girl in front of you, right? She's smiling, she's having fun, and I want to go talk to her. I'm nervous, 100%. Do I know why? Not really. Like at its
but
core, why am I nervous? I'm not scared of the unknown. I'm happy to fail. Um, I get rejected by people on a constant basis. Like happy with that. Like, or maybe am I? Maybe that's my thing. I gotta. This is
I
difficult.
think I think we care about that a lot. Like, people
Yeah, I
not
think that as
paying,
well.
like, a pretty girl not paying attention to you really like does a job in like not validating you, and that's so harsh, man.
Guys, I have something from you regarding this. Do
Yeah.
you know 100 Days of Rejection?
No. Tell
Oh,
me.
you
I
told me
need.
about this.
I need
So
to know. This
there's
sounds.
a guy. There's a guy that's called what's the name of the guy? Well, there's a guy. It's a Chinese entrepreneur that lives in America, and he did 100 days of rejection. He would like write down 100 different challenges to with the objective of getting rejected. And he started doing them one by one, and it did two things. The first one is that it like forged him into like not really caring about being rejected because he was rejected so much. But the second thing is that he started realizing that he wouldn't be always rejected, and a lot of times he would be actually accepted, and he would do like these crazy requests. So for example, day one was to borrow $100 from a stranger. He would just walk to a stranger and say, hey, can I borrow $100? and you can see the videos because he uploaded all the days, and I'll post this in the chat later. He said, "Can I borrow $100?" And the guy's like, "No, why?" And he's like, "No, no, don't worry, sorry, bye, bye." And he's like, so awkward. But since then he starts learning and improving. And the second day is to request a burger refill in Five Guys. He goes and he goes like, "Hey, can I get a burger refill?" And the Five Guys is like, "What's that?" Like a burger refill, like you refill sodas, but I also want to refill my burger. He's like, "No, sorry, we don't do that." And he's like, "Oh, really? But I really like your burgers. You sure you cannot give me one?" And he's like, day by day he starts improving. He starts actually trying to get a yes, but being rejected over and over again. And by the third day, he goes to a Krispy Kreme, the donuts place, and he asks to get like the Olympic symbol made out of donuts, and he wants like the donuts to be linked to each other and fried that way, and then have the colors of the Olympic games. And he's like really hoping to be rejected because who would do that? But there's an amazing lady that says, "Okay," and she starts thinking about, "Okay, I would need to go get the dough and make the form and put them together, and what are the
What?
colors? Okay, give me 20 minutes." And she goes and she comes back with the Olympic symbol made out of donuts, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And it's so good because you learn so much out of it. And then afterwards he made a TED talk about it and explaining all that he did, and it's so good.
Dude, I'm doing it this weekend. I'm actually doing it this weekend.
What are you doing this weekend?
So I'm hanging out with some friends and we're doing some pretty rogue stuff on the weekend. I think we're going to be doing some dumpster diving, like just around Melbourne. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, "Hey guys, we should do something called ridiculous requests, where we each come up with like random requests for each other, and we have to go into a store and make the request." I'm so excited for that. Yes, done.
Yeah, I remember once with a friend we did this approaching
I'm,
girls
I'm
at a
gonna,
party. We would be like, "Okay, the one that gets the most rejections wins." And it was so good because sooner or later you would start getting yeses.
that honestly, man, I love this. I'm gonna do it. I just typed to the guys ridiculous requests this Saturday.
But you need to try to get a yes, hope for the rejection, but you need to try to get the yes as much as you can. I think that's the hard part because it's super easy to ask the question and then run away. And that's what he does the first day, but then he starts improving, and it's super good.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. Yep,
Okay, guys,
man.
I
I
need
want
to
to.
get
I
going.
want to do this every day. I love this.
It's interesting.
Martin, fuck you.
Hmm?
Stay for half an hour more.
I need to get lunch and then I need to get back to work.
But we
I
want you
don't
here,
care.
man. Just
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to reject you.
Martin,
Fuck.
no.
Yeah,
But
man. Okay,
I
day
can keep
one.
recording. You can stay recording.
That's day one. That's day one.
One what? You want to watch it?
No,
No.
you just rejected me, man. What?
No, but that wasn't a crazy request. And that's actually what one thing he learns one of the days, because one days he goes to a store. I don't remember what he asks for, but he goes to like Johnny Rockets, and he asked them to sing him a birthday song, even though it is not his birthday, and they do it because they do it anyways. And he learns that, okay, it doesn't make sense to ask for things they would do anyway. I need to ask for things that are like out of the
Make people
normal
uncomfortable.
things.
That's
Yeah.
good. Ask uncomfortable questions. I love that, man. I freaking love it. I'm
Boom,
gonna.
boom. Okay, guys, have
Okay.
a good one. If you want to say, I won't stop recording, but I'll leave. Bye bye.
Okay. See you
Bye
later.
bye. See you guys.
Bye.
Listen,
Adios,
thanks you.
Santiago.
Thanks everyone for coming to our podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for
And
coming.
thank you, Terry. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you,
We
Sant.
and sponsors
Mm. Yep.
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
We should ask some ridiculous requests to donors.
Yeah. The donation $100. What do you think?
I'm thinking 1,000. Let's go ridiculous.
Right,
100,000. That's ridiculous.
right.
Crazy.
See you,
Okay.
Chavi.
Love
Have a
you, bro. See you
great night.
soon.
Love you, man. Good
Yeah.
night.
Catch you later. Cheers.
See you, man. Bye bye.
Bye. Adios.